Hey everybody, welcome to lesson 8.3. This is video number 1, and in this one I'm just going to demonstrate for you, first of all define for you what an altitude of a triangle is, and then demonstrate for you how it is that we draw the altitude in triangle diagrams that we have here in our work packet. So first of all, what an altitude is, and this is one of our learning targets, that you want to make sure that you can graph all 3 altitudes of a triangle. So there are 3, underline that, and understand that the altitude is a segment that is drawn, and you know what that symbol means because we've seen it in our refresher videos, that's perpendicular to a side of a triangle. So hopefully that kind of gives you a clue as to why we know there are 3 altitudes of every triangle, because every triangle has 3 sides. So therefore there can always be 3 segments that are drawn to a side of a triangle. I do want to expand a little bit though on this idea of a side, because it could be a side or it could be an extended side. And that will be the case, as you will see, whenever we are dealing with an obtuse triangle. Okay, so a triangle that has a big obtuse angle. When that happens, we're going to be able to draw altitudes only if we are extending those sides. So keep that in mind. Okay. So the easiest way to do that, you guys, is because we are dealing with a perpendicular segment, and because you know that perpendicular means a 90-degree angle, you want to make sure that you're using a tool that is able to do that very easily. And that, of course, is a ruler, okay? And that's the tool we want to use in order to find where that perpendicular segment would be. Okay, so as we look at the 2 diagrams that are here, and we read through a little bit of the lesson that you have, it says an altitude of a triangle is a perpendicular segment from a vertex, so that's a corner, as we know, to the line containing the opposite side. Every triangle, as we've already discussed, has 3 altitudes. An altitude can be inside, outside, or on the triangle. Underline that, okay, because we want to make sure that we understand that that depends on the type of the triangle that you are dealing with, okay? Inside altitudes are going to occur whenever we have an acute triangle. Outside altitudes, as you may have already guessed because of what we were just talking about with extending those sides, are when we have an obtuse triangle. And then on the triangle, that happens only in the case when you have a right triangle to begin with. So right now, I just want you to visually recognize where those altitudes are, okay? So first of all, in this diagram right here of triangle ABC, we have 3 altitudes that are drawn in, okay? The one that's easiest to see is this segment CY, because that's the gray segment there that's been added inside the triangle. And when we think about an altitude drawn to an opposite side, we tend our brain to go straight through the triangle to the opposite side. So here we have an obtuse triangle, and we're going from C to the opposite side AB, okay? Then we also have 2 other altitudes. So if we go to our next pair of sides, BC, and we were to try to drop down thinking about our ruler, okay? So here's our ruler, and if we are using the right angle here, okay, this right angle corner, what we want to do is we want to slide this end of the ruler basically along side BC until we contact the other side of the ruler with point A. So we'll draw a ruler here, and we will just kind of slide it along here, okay? Pretend this is our ruler. And so the bottom edge is going to slide along the side that we want the altitude to, but obviously we get to the end here at C and there's no more side left, but we haven't yet gotten to point A, which is our target right here, right? We need to get to A. So what we have to do, as you can see, is we have to extend that side a little bit farther than point C. And that will allow us to keep sliding our ruler along. And when we get to point A, that's when we can draw in AX, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Let's move our ruler out of the way here, and we will show you. So that is side BC that needed to be extended. And of course the final altitude, side AC, would have to be extended as well, because if we had our ruler edge traveling along AC, then of course we would have our ruler kind of like so, right? And sliding this direction along AC. And we would need to extend, again, side AC past point C out a little bit, because our goal here is to have the ruler contact point B and have the end of the ruler be on side AC. So 3 altitudes for that triangle, just to review, are from C to the opposite side here, drop across the perpendicular segment CY. From A to come across to CB, there's no way to do that unless we extend that side and draw our ruler at a right angle that way. And the same thing is true coming out of C the other direction. AC's side needs to get extended so that my end of my ruler can contact point B. And that is how we draw the 3 altitudes of a triangle. Really quickly, the other diagram that you have here, which is triangle PQR, hopefully you can see that 2 of the altitudes themselves are sides of the triangle, or legs of specifically the right triangle here. If I want to know the altitude from P to side QR, well, that's already side PQ. Coming the other direction, if I want to know the altitude from point R to side PQ, then that is just tracing side RQ. The only altitude that actually gets added to the diagram is when I am coming perpendicular to side PS here, and of course that drops across from point Q. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to just draw in those altitudes for you on the page that involves some practice examples. So we're going to look at 1 through 4 next. So turn in your packets to that page, should look like this, where it says for each triangle, draw the 3 altitudes. And I'm going to try to just kind of show you guys this with different colors. I hope it'll help. So first of all, if we want to go from point A, what we want to do from point A is to contact side BC. So I'm going to do this one in red, and we're going to hold our ruler so that its end, right, is going to be sliding alongside BC. So that would look kind of like this. Okay, and it's going to go this direction, obviously, sliding the end of our ruler here along the side. And we'll stop when our ruler hits point A. So where that is going to probably end up is right here, and you guys can see the right angle that would be there. So we'll use that for point A, which is going perpendicular to BC. Okay, changing colors here to blue. If we start at point B next, B we want to come across with our ruler perpendicular to side AC. So in blue, our ruler would be nice and straight up and down here, and we'll slide our ruler this direction so that the end of the ruler is sliding alongside AC. And in blue, when we draw that in, that would be perpendicular to side AC. And then our final color is green. And for green, of course, we are going from our third point, which is C, and coming across to side AB. And that, you guys, is going to need our ruler in this case to be coming this direction and sliding across. And we want it to slide alongside AB until we get to point C, right there. So when we draw that in, it's going to come across like so. And again, C is going to run perpendicular to AB. So hopefully those colors aren't too much of a mishmash. It's important for you guys to realize that all of those altitudes should be coming together in a singular point. The name of that point is called the ortho center of the triangle, and that is one of the special points that's talked about if you read through more of the text of lesson 8.3. We're really just focusing on the algebra of what the geometry context is, but just know that all those altitudes should, on purpose, be coming together at a single point. Depending on where the altitudes themselves are located, that point might be inside the triangle or it might be outside the triangle somewhere, kind of like you'll see here in number 2. Okay, so keep that in mind and see what you guys can do with drawing the rest of those altitudes. I'll give you a quick hint here as we start number 2. If I were to just color code those sides again, so let's go with from point A to BC is red. Notice this is an obtuse triangle, so I'm going to give you a hint right now. You're going to want to extend that side past point B. Sorry, that's not very good as far as the straightness of that line. And then the same thing is true coming across from point C to side AB. And we'll change colors there and make that blue. You're going to want to extend that side out as well. Hopefully the green altitude is a little bit easier because that's going to come right across from B to the other side. But keep in mind that when you're doing those red and blue altitudes to those drawn sides, you're going to be ending up outside the triangle. Okay? All right. I know that was a little bit, kind of maybe a little bit messy as far as all the colors involved, but hopefully you guys got the picture. See what you can do with the rest of these 3 problems, please.